Hi and welcome to Samsung Now. Samsung Now is the place to be for what I call user case reviews, where I will review a Samsung product where I've had it for some time, where I personally own the item, and I give you a unbiased review on that product and what I wanted from it, what I got from it, and whether I'll keep it or not. So if you're interested in Samsung products, or you're just interested in tech in general, then please subscribe because we need to get these numbers up. Okay, so let's get cracking. So today we're going to be looking at the Samsung S3, which is the latest Samsung smartwatch. Now, the key, sort of the main difference between this and other Android watches is this uses Samsung's own proprietary software called Tizen. It still can be used with other Android phones. It's not particular just to Samsung, and it also can be used with Apple watches, Apple phones too. So let's just talk about the watch for now, because when you buy a watch, the first thing that you buy a watch for, kind of, is obviously, other than telling the time, is that you want it to look good. It's kind of a fashion statement. So the first thing when I buy a watch, whether it's a smart one like this or it's just a standard old school watch, I want it to look good. You don't want a watch that's going to be some square lump of blackness like the Apple Watch was or is still, or for that matter the Moto 360, which was it looked all right. It kind of had that sort of, watches, in my view, have to be round. And sort of Moto 360 got this right. And but it had the awful flat tire thing at the bottom. And the screen wasn't that great and it wasn't that large. So yeah, those are the sort of the things that sort of put me off about the Apple Watch and the 360. I hasten to add, I actually have owned those two other watches. I bought when I was a bit of an Apple fanboy, I bought the Apple Watch. I liked it for about a few weeks, and then I got bored with it. I bought the Moto 360. It was okay. I liked it for a few weeks, then I got bored with it. And this will be... I'll get on to sort of part of the problem that I have with smartwatches later. And it may be key as to whether I will actually be keeping this smartwatch or not. So I've had this now for 3 weeks, I believe. And I really do like it. I like the fact that it's incredibly well made. It's really sturdy. It looks like a watch. You want it to look like a watch. It's so well made. It's to me personally, it's streets ahead of what the Apple Watch is, and the Apple Watch 2. Also the Moto 360 and the latest gen of Moto 360. This is a nice heavy watch. It looks like a watch. It doesn't look out of place when it's on your wrist. My concern when I first bought this is that it was going to be huge, and it is huge. It is a big watch. I have slightly sort of lady wrists, and my concern was that it would drown it out, and it did. When I first put it on, it did look kind of big, but I got used to it. I like it. In fact, I like it now that it is big, because it's got a great screen. It's an OLED screen. It's really clear, really bright, and it works okay in most sunlight. It works better than other smartwatches do in sunlight. But still there's that problem of glare and so on. But yeah, so it looks good, it feels good, it's got a nice heavy, it's a nice weight to it. But I don't believe that it's more of a man's watch than a women's watch. The other good thing is that the strap, one of my things that bug me a lot is you spend a lot, a lot of money on these watches. This one's £350, £300, and they give you crappy straps. And you want a decent strap, and one of the great things that Samsung have done is they included a really high quality leather strap with this. And in fact, you get two in the box. You get a small one and a large one. This is the large one, which works out well for me and my girly wrists because I can swap and change and wear both if I need to. And the other good thing is that it can use any strap. It doesn't necessarily have to be these straps or any proprietary strap that you can buy from Samsung or, an authorized strap maker for the brand. So it can be any strap that you want, you can put on this watch, which I think is fabulous, but, you've got people like Apple that just want to just suck any bit of money and revenue it can out of you any which way it can and then charge you a fortune in the process. So those are the things I look for in a watch straight away. It's got to look good, it's got to look like a watch, it's got to feel good, it's got a good quality to it. It's really well made. The strap is great, and those are the sort of the first things I look for in a watch, and I believe what many I believe would look for in a watch. The next thing is the actual Tizen software that's the OS on there is really actually very good. The actual control of the OS is these two buttons, back and forward, or back one step, or back to main screen, and then the rotary, which I think is fabulous, is controls the menu. So you can go and control to sort of the main sort of apps that are viewable from the main screen, and then you can go to other apps further in. So you've got these, you've got a ton of apps. And this is the key thing for me, is that lots of people say, oh, Tizen, it hasn't got the apps. And the question is, well, what apps do you want? For me, I want a whole set of really good, high quality, well-made apps for this watch. Now that doesn't mean I want 1 million apps for this watch. It doesn't mean to say I need hundreds of apps for this watch. I just need some very good apps that do the key core things. Notifications, texting, calling, weather, fitness, contacts, telling the time, alarms, calendar, all those key things and much more. Because this can sort of alert you of all sorts of things, and if you get a text you can reply by voice and then it will convert that into text. It can do all manner of things. So there are plenty of apps that have been developed for it already. So how many more do you need? So it's got the core apps there. You've got your key notifications, you got all the things that you need in terms of fitness and heart rate, altimeter, and so on. The only thing I believe this doesn't have, as opposed to the actual, there's a fitness version of this too that has sort of rubberized instead of sort of metal. It's got rubber and a rubber strap, is that the other one has a GPS in it. This one doesn't, which I think is a bit of an omission really. If you're going to include it in one but not the other, I think there's kind of a little bit of a misstep from Samsung there again. Samsung do weird things like that. So I'm not too sure why they would do that, but they have. Maybe they wanted to make a difference between the two, but yeah. So if you're after, I believe, if you're after a decent watch that looks good, that is stylish, that is fluid in design and and its function, that's, if you don't mind that it's kind of a big watch, this does look kind of big on my girly wrists, but I'm okay with that. I've grown to really like it. It is the display is really good and clear. It feels great on the wrist, and you know, as I said, I've got small wrists. And it looks good, and it does all the things that I need, and I imagine there's a lot similar people out there like me that would want those key things, those key notifications and more sort of fed back to you from your watch. Then, you know, then I think, you know, it's a great watch. And in terms of what they've done in using the bezel as the key you know, means of navigation, I think that's fantastic. And of course the screen is touch responsive as well. You know, you can sort of just swipe through if you really wanted to, but the immediacy and the simplicity of using the bezel is just a great idea. I've got a friend, in fact, who's got an Apple Watch 2, I believe, and he was cutting my hair. He's a hairdresser, and he was cutting my hair, and he sort of looked at my watch and went, "Oh, that's a great looking watch." And I sort of explained to him, and he was really taken back, you know, with this. He loved that because, you know, the twiddly little dial on the Apple Watch is, yeah, no one wants that. So yeah, so the question is then, you know, it's a great watch. It looks good. It's well made. It does all those key things that I believe that you need from a watch, a smart watch. It's a nice weight. The software is great. It doesn't matter that it hasn't got 1 million apps. You don't need 1 million apps. You know, that's what you got your phone for. Don't be playing games on your watch. It's got all the sort of key things that you really need it for. You know, you got your fitness, it's waterproof, you know, properly waterproof. And I really like it. But, and here's the but, I'm not too sure I'll keep it. And it has nothing to do with any of the things I've talked about. It has everything to do with, I don't know whether I need it. You know, and I know in a lot of tech things, there's a lot of things we don't need. Pretty much everything tech related we don't need. But it's the same problem I had with the Apple Watch. It's the same problem I had with the Moto 360. And I've got a feeling this is the same problem I'm going to have with this. It's great, you know, and this is the best one out of all of them. You know, and it's great, and I kind of want to keep it, but I just, you know, I just don't really feel the need to have those same notifications and a bit more fed to me to my wrist. You know, there's the heart rate thing and all that stuff, but you know, and unless maybe there's a user case thing where perhaps if you're really into fitness, you would use it then more. And then, you know, I think there are probably better options for you there if that's really your thing. But in terms of being a stylish watch that does everything that you want from a smartwatch, then this is the one to get. But for me, I'm just really don't know where I am as to whether I'll keep it or not, because of that very thing. It's like my phone does everything that this is just being fed from anyway. And to make this work as effectively, I need to have my phone within shouting distance of it. So why do I need this other than, I've got an email, I've got a text, I can't. And this is the other thing. To really reply properly to a text or whatever, you still have to go to your phone anyway. So all you're getting is just a notification really on your wrist to say that your phone's got a message. And that if you want to really respond to that message effectively, you're going to have to go to your phone. So the score I would give it as a smartwatch, I would give this an 8 or a 9. Maybe an 8. I think this deserves at least an 8. But I'm knocking it down because it's a smartwatch, and for me, I'm struggling with the fact as to why. You know, maybe someone can help me with why they want a smartwatch, and you know why using your smartwatch and how you're using it, and especially if it's one of these, you know, if it's a Samsung smartwatch. Not that I need convincing, because, you know, everyone's different, of course, but it'll be interesting for me to know what you get from your smartwatch and what makes it different from you and what makes it a worthwhile purchase. So if you're looking for a smartwatch, this is the one to get, okay? This is the one to get, the S3, whether it's the sport version or the classic version, which we see here. This is the best smartwatch. If I was really into smartwatches and I really, you know, do like this, but I could see more of a valid reason to have a smartwatch, I would give this a 9. But for me personally, because I'm not too sure as to the validity of smartwatches, I'm giving it an 8, because I don't know whether I'm keeping this or not. So look out in future videos to see if I'm still wearing this. Yeah, so there we are with the Samsung S3 review. It's a great smartwatch. I really like it, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. If you want to know more about, you know, the things, there are other videos in terms of, you know, I've done the Gear VR review, the latest one with the little fancy puck. There's the which have almost become infamous, the Dex reviews that I've done as well, and there's more to come too, so please look out for those. The only one I probably won't be doing is actually the S8, because that's been done to death. Everyone's been doing those, and they do them much better than probably I could. But I'll be showing more stuff, more of my gadgets, not just Samsung, but other things I've got, you know, that I've got coming and got laying around here, which you can probably see, as well as that TV behind me. So yeah, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, write something about what you think of smartwatches in general, or if you actually have one yourself or one of these, you know, why you're keeping it, what you're using it for. Let me know. And as I said before in one of my other videos, I'm looking to create one of these at least every Friday. This is Sunday today, but you know, there will be at least once a week every Friday. Okay, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a look at my other videos too, and I'll catch you very soon. Take care. Bye bye. You know, an annoying thing about the S8 is that when you used to record a video, it used to come up with a light, but now when you record a video on these smartphones, it doesn't show a light that you're being recorded, so I have no idea that it stopped, if it stops. So I actually have to set up a mirror behind the phone so I can see the phone screen. That's a complaint about the S8.